Till now, we have seen how our senior scientists lost their life. Now, let's see how the very young and talented minds were squeezed to death. Any guesses who it is? No, right? It's KK Joshi and Abhish Shivam. On October 2013, KK Joshi and Abhish Shivam, engineers connected with building the indigenous nuclear power submarine INS Aryanth, were found dead on the railway tracks in Visakhapatnam. KK Joshi was 34 years old and Abhish was just 33 years old, and they were scrambled to death. And now obviously there would be a question in your mind. Why are we worrying about the death of this young scientist? What have they achieved in such a young age? Let me tell you, not simply someone will kill them without any reason. And also, at first their body was found lying on the railway tracks, and it depicted like they had committed suicide. But when the police looked at the crime scene, they couldn't find the necessary evidence for the same. But later on, it was found that they were poisoned. Isn't that strange and seem like a movie? But it happened for real. Now let me tell you what these great minds were working on. As I said before, KK Joshi and Abhish Shivam were engineers connected with building the indigenous nuclear power submarine INS Aryanth. At present, submarines work on batteries and can stay underwater for a period of 6 days without coming to the surface. Since the batteries need to be charged, they come to the surface and charge it using the generator. Since the generator emits smoke, they cannot be operated under the water because there are no outlets. But the main disadvantage of this is when they come to the surface, their location will be disclosed through the satellites. To overcome this, our young minds were working on a nuclear power submarine, which if it had been successful, the submarine could remain underwater for a month without being detected. But now it's been a great loss to our country again, as we lost him. India is left behind again, as we lost him. If they had been with us now, then INS Aryanth would have been a nuclear power submarine. The death of the scientist falls into either suicide or an unexplained category. The rampant unexplained deaths of the scientists are a failure of the police force, where they become puppets in the hands of government bodies which restricted them to investigate further. Undoubtedly, such unexplained deaths are the act of professional killers, which can only be countered through the well-trained spies, which India has no depth. These heinous acts can only be traced if the regulatory bodies have a willingness to probe further, and which can be assimilated through a responsible media. The independent bodies have released the different nations like USA, Pakistan and China, which are going an extra mile in halting the country's nuclear program. Be difference and make difference. Such allegations are not going to work, as the responsible government need to be accountable for such deaths. Otherwise, the day is not far when not only there would be a dissatisfaction among the general public, but also there would be a wave of fear in these bright minds. Jai Hind.